E-Title Transfer allows eligible sellers and buyers to transfer vehicle ownership electronically. By utilizing a secure online system, customers can complete the vehicle title transfer process without visiting an MVD office. Both the seller and the buyer must have an active account at azmvdnow.gov. There are limitations on what vehicles can have their titles transferred electronically. These requirements include: a vehicle must have an Arizona title, current Arizona registration, and current emissions. The transfer is from one owner to one owner. Only passenger vehicles are eligible. No liens or brands on the vehicle title. A full list of requirements is available at azdot.gov/etitle. Before beginning an e-title transfer, know that there are time constraints. The buyer's automatically generated code will last 48 hours. From the moment the seller begins the title transfer process, the seller has 24 hours to release the vehicle to the buyer. Once the seller releases ownership, the buyer should complete the transfer by paying the title and registration fees immediately. If the buyer does not pay the required fees within 1 month, they will receive a message requiring them to pay in person at an MVD office, and late penalty fees may apply. Let's begin the e-title transfer process. Here are the steps the buyer must take. Log into your AZ MVD Now account, navigate to Title, then click on I'm buying a vehicle so you can generate an e-title buying code. You will be asked to provide enhanced authentication. Choose one of the 3 options. A smartphone with a camera is needed for the MID authentication and face authentication. If you're providing enhanced authentication for the first time, this step may take a few minutes. After enhanced authentication is verified, click on I'm buying a vehicle. Click on Create e-title buyer code. An e-title buyer code has been created. Remember this code, as it will need to be provided the seller later during the transfer. This code will also come via a message to your AZ MVD Now account. The buyer's steps are completed for now, and now the seller must complete steps to continue the transfer. The first step for the seller is to log in to their account at azmvdnow.gov and navigate to the e-title transfer page and click on I'm selling my vehicle. The seller will be prompted to provide enhanced verification and given the same options to do so as the buyer. Please complete that task. After enhanced verification is completed, the seller will select the vehicle for which they are transferring the title. If you are sure that you want to transfer the vehicle title and the buyer's code has already been generated, click Continue with Title Transfer. Now, the seller will enter the current odometer reading and certify that the figure is accurate, as well as the buyer code in the fields. Make sure to verify that this information is correct. When you're satisfied, click Submit. This will generate a message to the buyer's AZ MVD Now account, alerting them that they can now review the title transfer. The seller won't be able to click Continue until the buyer accepts. Here, the buyer has received the message. Open the message and click Continue e-title transfer. The buyer now has the opportunity to review the vehicle information and should make sure this is the correct vehicle. The buyer will also approve of the odometer disclosure. Note that this step must be completed before the expiration. When they are satisfied that the information is correct, they will click Continue Transfer. After clicking Continue Transfer, the buyer will see this screen indicating that the seller must now release the title. The seller will receive a message that the buyer has reviewed and accepted the transfer. The seller will open the message and click Continue e-title transfer. This is the final step for the seller and is permanent. If the seller is sure that they want to proceed with this transaction, they will click Release ownership of the vehicle and transfer title. This pop-up will appear, asking them to confirm. Once this is done, the seller will no longer own this vehicle. Congratulations! The seller's portion of the e-title transfer of this vehicle is complete. The seller should next submit a sold notice and submit for a registration refund if applicable. Both of these services are available at azmvdnow.gov. The buyer must now title and register the vehicle. The buyer will receive a message that the transfer has occurred. Opening that message will take the buyer to the page where they can pay title and registration fees for their new vehicle. Confirm that your information is correct and select your payment type, then click Checkout. After submitting payment, the vehicle is now titled and registered in the buyer's name. A temporary version of the license plate and registration can be printed and used until the permanent versions are received. Please allow 10 to 15 days for registration and a new license plate to arrive in the mail. This completes the e-Title transfer service.